Hey guys, so today you are going to work on your study guide for our geometry unit. So we are going to go back before the state test and we're going to look at graphing on the coordinate plane with geometry. We kind of talked about that a little bit earlier when we talked about coordinate graphing, but for the most part, we are done with our geometry here. So we're going to do our study guide and you're going to take your unit test tomorrow. So what I'm going to have you guys do, you're going to get a paper copy of this also, and feel free to do all the work that you want on there. I do want you guys to type your answers in Edulastic though, because what I'm going to do is at the end of your period, when you guys turn this in, I'm going to go back in and I'm going to look at some of the most commonly missed questions so we can just kind of review those before you take your unit test tomorrow. So based on how you guys do on these, we don't have time to talk about all of them tomorrow before your test, but I'll pick the ones that I think we made some common mistakes on, and we'll make sure we review those before tomorrow. So, all right, I just want to point a couple things out on here. Let me see. So the first ones, I went ahead and I put all the units in here because I didn't want it marking a problem wrong because you guys didn't have the units typed in correctly. So if it's square, whatever, cubic, or regular units, those are all already typed in there. So basic problems here, area for the first couple, same thing, just area again. Yep, all area problems here. Okay, so here's our composite shapes. So you're going to have to break these into separate problems and then either add or subtract. Make sure you are using the correct formulas. If you have triangles, don't forget to divide by 2. So often you guys write the formula and you show me that you know you need to divide by 2, but then you skip that step at the end. So make sure you're taking your time with that. Next page, remember if you click on this arrow over here, it gives you the next page. Next one, let's see. Okay, so this one, yeah, here's why I wanted to talk to you guys. Obviously, sketch and net, that's going to be really hard to do on the computer, right? So I would like you guys to do that on a piece of paper. You guys know, you should at least know how to make nets. If you're not sure if yours works, hold your paper up, show someone around you. Obviously, keep a safe distance from everyone, but you guys should be able to handle that. If you can't figure it out, do a Google search to see if it works. I wanted the numbers to stay the same. So even though you're not typing anything in here, I put a number 7, and I think I wrote paper for the right answer here. So if you want to type paper in for number 7, you can do that. But it's set for 0 points. So it's not like if you type something different in there or leave it blank, it's not going to count against you or anything. Number 8 asks you to sketch the 3D figure. And remember, we talked about this before. It's not important. They're not going to ask you to sketch a 3D figure on the state test. And I know for some of us, like me, right, my drawings are not fantastic. It's not super important. I would like you to know what the shape is. So when you get to this, maybe just think what shape this would make. And again, next to the number 8, you could just type the word skip or just leave it blank. Same thing for number 9. Again, they're asking you to sketch this. Don't worry about that. So skip again. Then same thing. I do want you guys to draw the net for number 10. Just do it on a piece of paper, okay, and put the dimensions on there. And same thing, you can just type paper for number 10. All right, 11, 12, and 13, you guys are just finding surface area. So make sure you're paying attention. Biggest issues on that surface area quiz were making sure you doubled. Like in this case, we have a rectangular prism. So you're going to have 2 of each area. So you have to make sure you either add them up twice or multiply your answer by 2 at the end. Same thing for number 12. Make sure you have the right amount of each space. Make sure you're paying attention to what dimensions go with what. And over here you have a triangular pyramid. So again, you're just finding surface area. Just make sure you're using the right formula for your triangles. All right, page 3. Volume of a rectangular prism by packing it with cubes. So this was like, let me think back, homework 9, I think, when we talked about unit cubes. So different ways you can go about solving this, but I think we want to know how many cubes that are 1/3 the whole way around would fit in there. So there's a couple of different ways you could go about doing that. You guys can decide what plan you want, but you're figuring out how many cubes. You're not finding the air, you're not finding the volume here. You're figuring out how many of those cubes would go in there. All right. So you're finding volume on 16. You're finding volume on 17. Okay, so you got to kind of work backwards here on number 18. They give you the volume and you're working to find one of the other side lengths. So think what you need to do there. 19, same thing. They give you the volume and they give you the area of the base. So think what you can do with those to figure out the height of that prism. And then fourth page. Okay, so this is making you kind of apply. So it's pushing you a little bit further. So you got to find volume first, and then you're doing something else with it. So you got to figure out how many minutes it's going to take to fill up the bathtub. So once you find the volume, you still got to do one more step. And I want to say these are the kind of problems that you're going to be more likely to see on the state test, not just a basic find the volume of this figure, but find the volume and then do something else with it. So same thing, number 21 isn't just going to be the volume, it's going to be money dependent on that volume. Okay, so keep in mind for this one, it's not just asking you to find the volume. It says the terrarium is filled 1/4 of the way with dirt, and they just want to know how much dirt is going to be in there. So once you find the volume, think what you're going to have to do with that 1/4. And last one, 23. Okay, so you have boxes that measure 5 inches by 5 inches by 5 inches. And you want to know how many of those littler boxes would fit in this large box that holds 1,000 cubic inches. So your answer is going to be how many boxes. Okay, so I'm hopeful that you guys can get through this. Honestly, I think if you focus, you can get through these 23 questions. If you're fiddling around, it's obviously going to make it more challenging. Please, you're allowed to use calculators for this. Use calculators. I don't want it taking you 15 minutes to do a problem because you're multiplying and dividing on your own. Use calculators. Okay, borrow mine if you need to. If we run out of what I have in the classroom, somebody can use the ones on their computers. But get this finished up or at least as close to done as you can and submit that for me just so I can see what we need to review before you take your test tomorrow. Okay? All right, don't forget about IXLs. Those are due Friday, so make sure those are finished up. Honors, you guys have another IXL that you had to get done, FF19. So hopefully that's finished. That was supposed to be done for today. If it's not, that needs to get finished up and you need to send me an email if it's late so I know to go back in to check to see that it's finished. Okay, so unit test tomorrow then. If you are in my honors class, we're going to move on to circles after that. If you are in my other classes, you guys are taking your test Friday, and hopefully, as long as all goes well, I will be back Monday. All right? So keep up the hard work, guys. I appreciate all that you're doing. Give it your best effort, best behavior, expecting wonderful report. All right. See you guys.